Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And today we're going to continue talking about the Scarlet Letter. It's our featured work of literature for this month. In the last couple of programs, we talked about the novel itself. We summarized the plot on the first day. And on the second day, of course, we talked about the author himself, Nathaniel Hawthorne. But hey, enough about him. Let's get back to the story. That's what we really want to talk about. Why is this story such a big deal? What are some of the ideas and themes in the story? And why do we think you should read it?
That's right. So what we're going to do is going to look for major themes, major messages perhaps the author wanted to communicate. We're going to read through today's lesson, and then we'll be back to kind of look more carefully at some of these themes.
A major theme in the Scarlet Letter is sin and the human condition. Puritan society expected its members to follow a strict code of conduct and stay on the right side of the law. Those caught breaking the rules were harshly punished. A sin like adultery was often punishable by death. However, the town's clergy and legal authorities use Hester as a living sermon against sin or a warning to frighten others into obeying Puritan morals. In spite of that, the story portrays Hester as a victim of a judgmental and unforgiving society who makes amends by helping others. Some newer members of the community who hadn't witnessed her public shame even assume her A is for Abel or angel. Another important theme is the nature of evil. Dimmesdale and Hester's affair was characterized as an evil act in Puritan society. But this is only a minor example. In fact, the worst sinners are Chillingworth and Dimmesdale. Chillingworth perpetuates evil by embracing jealousy and revenge instead of forgiveness. Dimmesdale's cowardice makes him try to hide his sin and deny fatherly love to his daughter. He allows Hester and Pearl to bear the burden of sin while maintaining the appearance of a moral community leader. Identity and society also play an important role in the Scarlet Letter. Hester's Scarlet A becomes part of her identity and a symbol of her past. She even embroiders it beautifully with gold thread, and it inspires her to forgive herself and live a good life. Rather than moving to a new place, Hester becomes a valuable member of the community that once condemned her and is remembered as a caring and compassionate woman.
Okay, guys, let's look at the first major theme. It's right there in the first paragraph. A major theme is sin. We talked about what that is before. It's not necessarily breaking the law and being put in prison for breaking a law, but it is going against the moral code that most people live by. For example, the 10 Commandments: don't lie, don't steal, don't kill, things like that. Don't commit adultery. And the human condition, let me talk a little bit about that. That's kind of a broad idea that is often used in literature. It's just the characteristics of human life. So your birth, how you grew up, your emotions, your goals, what you want to achieve, any conflicts that you have to deal with, and your death, of course, your mortality. So we see the human condition kind of written about and looked at very closely by different authors. Most people are very interested in life. Why are we here? What's life for? What are we doing? Where are we going next? So it is about sin and the human condition then.
It certainly is. And of course, as you know, at that time in history, during the 1600s, Massachusetts had a lot of Puritans. That was a religious group that came from England at that time. They didn't like the way religion was in England, so they came to the New World and set up a church there. So they had their own little society there, and Puritan society expected its members to follow a strict code of conduct and stay on the right side of the law. Okay, so you needed to obey the rules of the church. You had to follow these strict rules or this strict code. Code of conduct, of course, is the way you're supposed to behave, what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, etc., etc. And also, you needed to obey the law, stay on the right side of the law. No, it doesn't mean to drive down the right side of the road like they do in America and here in Taiwan, of course. They drive on the left in England and Japan. But here, of course, this does not mean where you drive. It means where you are with the law. Do you obey the law, or are you a criminal, and do you deserve to go to jail?
Ooh, those caught breaking the rules were harshly punished. So, it didn't matter that it wasn't a law according to the government. No, it was a law or rule they had in their church. And if you broke the rules, they would punish you. And here it says harshly punish you. Harsh or harshly just means very rough on you. Very cruel, very severe. It wasn't just like you shouldn't do that. No, no, no. They would actually humiliate you, make you feel like you're a very evil person. And as Tom has explained, the Puritans were very strict. They thought that, people who went to church were not quite good enough. You needed to be even better. So they imposed or added additional rules to the people who followed this particular code.
Indeed. So, yes, indeed, you were severely or harshly punished if you did not follow the rules. And sometimes a sin like adultery was often punishable by death. You might get the death penalty. You might be executed.
Woo.
Punishable means how you're going to be punished. Punishable by a jail term, as examples.
Or punishable by lethal injection. We'll often see that in the paper. They'll tell us how that person's going to be executed.
Exactly. So here it goes on to say, however, the town's clergy and legal authorities use Hester as a living sermon against sin or a warning to frighten others into obeying Puritan morals. So, of course, if you talk about the church leaders, that would be the clergy, the bishops and the pastors and people like that. That's the clergy. And then you've got legal authorities, which would be the regular folks in charge of the government, the mayor, the police, or whoever. Those would be the authorities. And they decided, let's not punish her by death. Let's make an example of her. So let's use her to remind everybody that what she did is bad. She can be a living example, or she can be a living sermon against sin. If she wears that scarlet letter around her neck all the time, people will be reminded of what's going to happen to you if you do something like she did.
Yeah, it's like her whole life she had people just pointing at her and going, you don't want to be a Hester. So, yeah, she was a living sermon against sin. Pretty tough back then. So, in spite of that, or even though that was true, this story portrays Hester as a victim of judgmental and unforgiving society, So if you're judgmental, you're very quick to judge others, even though you might not understand their circumstances exactly. Or maybe you don't know the whole story. That's why Christians, at least, are told not to judge others. And we're supposed to forgive others as well. So if you're unforgiving, if someone's done something wrong, you never let them forget it. And you continue to hold it against them. So, yeah, it's kind of tough on Hester, but Hester is a good person. She made a mistake, but she wants to change, and she tries to make amends by helping others. To make amends means you know you've done something wrong, but you want to make up for it. So you turn around and you help somebody maybe that you've hurt in the past, or you might go and help out a charity or, just serve other people trying to help make up for mistakes you've made in the past.
So, of course, she does try to make amends in this story by helping others.
Yeah.
She helps out poor people, sick people, stuff like that. Some newer members of the community who hadn't witnessed her public shame even assume her A is for Abel or Angel. So we've got some new members of this community who moved in later,
Isn't that nice?
or maybe they they were children who later grew up, and they did not witness her public shame. If you witness something, you see it with your own eyes. Hey, I saw that car go through the red light and smash into that pedestrian, so I witnessed that. I told the police, and they were able to arrest that driver for manslaughter, or killing somebody. So in this particular case, those people had not seen her being humiliated in public. They didn't know exactly what she had done so wrong. What they saw was her helping out people, so they thought, hey, that A must mean something good. It must mean she's able to help out people, or she's an angel, that she deserves to go to heaven. See, that is the hypocrisy of the church sometimes.
So sad, but I'm sure it didn't take long for the older members of the community to share some gossip about her, which is always hard. You can never really get away from your bad acts. That's the truth. So another important theme, remember that was the major theme we just talked about. Another important theme is the nature of evil. Wow. Dimmesdale and Hester's affair was characterized as an evil act in Puritan society. But this is only a minor example. If you characterize something as being like something, it just means you're describing what it's like. You're talking about some of the features or what's typical of that thing. Her affair was characterized as an evil act. Actually, it's still considered to be pretty awful. It doesn't matter if you're a Puritan or not, but that's how it was characterized. It was evil.
So that's kind of the theme here, the nature of evil. What is evil all about? Well, Dimmesdale and Hester's affair was characterized as an evil act in Puritan society. Remember, Dimmesdale, was the pastor at that church, and he had an affair. That's a really bad thing for a pastor to do. But, of course, that was how it was characterized or portrayed in the novel. But that's only a minor or small example. In fact, the worst sinners, the ones who are really bad, the ones who really deserve to burn in hell forever, are Chillingworth and Dimmesdale. But they got off scot-free. Well, they won't when they die. Of course, the devil will get them then. But still, they are the worst sinners. We've got sin and we've got sinners. A person who commits a sin is a sinner. And the worst ones, of course, are Chillingworth and Dimmesdale. Remember, Chillingworth is what, her ex-husband or something like that? Or the husband who disappeared. And he's the one who wants to get revenge on Dimmesdale. But in any case, we find out that they are two bad apples here. They are rotten to the core. They are actually the bad boys here. But again, that's how things work in the real world sometimes. The good people get punished and the bad ones get off scot-free. Well, that brings us past the midway point, so I think we're going to take a little bit of a break right now and listen to our Chinese teacher.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们继续来看第7单元。好，这篇文章比较长，我们分了3个部分，从这个故事它的发展，再到作者的介绍。那我们今天就要来探讨这本书 The Scarlet Letter 它背后有什么样的意涵，还有它的主旨是哪些。说起来呢，谈到它的主旨，我们也要分成3个大项目来看。第一点，它的主题其实是 Sin and the Human Condition， 也就是罪恶和人的境况。好，我们来看，说起来，当时的社会背景，书里面谈的是清教徒社会。我们知道，清教徒社会呢，是西元16、17世纪这时候，而在那个社会里面，当然要求大家要遵守法律，有一套的行为准则，然后你只要犯了法，违规了，就应该要被惩罚。好，注意到这个字Puritan， 我们知道 The Puritans 指的就是清教徒，而在那样子的社会里的状况的确是比较严谨的。那再来下面就提到，如果你犯了法会被惩罚，他用到了一个 those， 我们先看 those 后面接了一个 caught breaking the rules， 这个 caught CAUGHT， 它是一个过去分词。那说起来，它就是一个分词片语。当然，它的意思就是说 ，those who were caught breaking the rules。如果你 catch somebody doing something， 就是抓到谁做了什么事，那这个地方是被抓到。那如果你不要 who， 你不要 be 动词，你只保留这个过去分词，那就像在这个地方 caught 这个 PP， 然后你就表示是那样子被抓到犯法的人。好，继续我们再往下看。那所以说，像 adultery， 也就是我们知道这是通奸罪。我们知道女主角 Hester 她犯了通奸罪，那像这样的人是可以被判死刑的。只是说，他们的决议是把它当做一个好像是一个活生生的例子，用来警告别人不要犯这样的犯这样的错。所以说，等于是一种。虽然没判他死刑，却是比死刑还要可悲。好，我们再看，当然这是一种把别人都吓得要遵守道德规范的一种警告，所以就是等于是用它来杀鸡儆猴，警告别人你非得如此不行。好，那这个故事里面虽然说的确Hester 女主角她犯的是 adultery， 是通奸罪，但是呢，她还是把它描写成为是一个这样子冷酷无情而且妄加批判的一个社会里的受害者。好，那这谈到了第二个主旨。第二个主旨是什么呢？第二个主旨是邪恶的本质 ，the nature of evil。我们知道，在清教徒社会里面，你所谓的邪恶，当然就是像女主角这样子。他跟牧师的婚外情，这的确是一种邪恶的行为。可是呢，这却只是一个次要的例子。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. We're talking about some of the major themes in this book, The Scarlet Letter. When we left you, we were talking about the major theme, which is sin and the human condition, and how people in this Puritan society were expected to follow very strict rules. Their code of conduct was really tough, and if they broke any of those rules, they were harshly punished. But we also talked about how Hester actually tried to turn her life around. After she made that mistake, she became very loving and caring and service-minded. She would try to help people who were sick and poor. And newer members who moved into that community and hadn't heard the gossip or witnessed the public shaming her thought she was an angel, which I kind of love. Now, another important theme we talked about or started talking about was the nature of evil and how the men, Dimmesdale and Chillingworth, her creepy husband who returned as a physician, were really the worst sinners of all. So Chillingworth, it says, perpetuates evil by embracing jealousy and revenge instead of forgiveness. Remember, he goes to check in on Dimmesdale, who is sick, and he sees there's an A on his chest. And so he kind of has a feeling that, this might be the person my wife had an affair with. Let's go back to this word perpetuate. To perpetuate just means to keep something going continually, indefinitely, so it doesn't stop. So he keeps the evil going by embracing jealousy. So he's very jealous that his wife slept with the minister or pastor. That's his fault. He left her. And she was alone for several years. And back then, it was difficult for women to find work, you know? You couldn't go out and just get a job. So he's a pretty creepy. He's the worst one for me.
Right. Jealousy is similar to the word envy, to be envious of someone. But to me, jealousy is more about lovers and things like that. I'm really jealous that my ex-girlfriend is now going out with the captain of the football team, whose father is a really rich lawyer and stuff like that. Boy, am I jealous. But you might be envious of something that somebody else has or something.
Like a cool car.
Like a really expensive car, or the chance to go on vacations every other month or something like that.
Nice.
But yeah, that's jealousy is involved in this story here because Chillingworth, of course, is jealous that his wife is seeing another man, or at least did, so he wants revenge. Revenge is not forgiving people, okay? So you're supposed to forgive. You're supposed to turn the other cheek in the Christian religion. And Dimsdale's cowardice makes him try to hide his sin and deny fatherly love to his daughter. So Dimsdale, of course, is a coward. And when you are a coward, we're saying that you are experiencing cowardice. That's the noun here. That just means when you are not brave, when you are a coward. So because of his cowardice, because he is such a 胆小鬼, he tries to hide his sin. He doesn't fess up. He doesn't confess it. And so therefore, he's unable to actually provide love for his daughter. She's his daughter. She's innocent in this. He should be there for her. But because of his sin and because he's such a coward, he just can't do anything about that.
It's terrible because he goes ahead and just allows his community to place all the blame on Hester and Pearl. Pearl's completely innocent. That's what makes me so sad. And they have to bear the burden of sin. While Dimsdale, remember, he's a church leader, he continues going through life as if he's this great moral community leader. Oh, he's such a righteous man. He's such a good man. And he's not. He's a terrible person because he allows Hester and Pearl to take all the blame. And they continue, of course, to be shamed by the community. Some people will never let this go. So I'm sure even though Hester does serve those who are poor and needy, there are still some women, especially in the community, who are nasty to her, who are mean. So moving on to the final paragraph, identity and society also play an important role in the Scarlet Letter. Now, your identity is who you are. And who you are and how you fit into society is probably the theme they're talking about here. Hester's Scarlet A becomes part of her identity and a symbol of her past. It's not bad sometimes, guys, to remember mistakes you made in the past. You don't want to let it stop you from moving forward, but it is good to remember mistakes you made so you don't repeat them. That's what you want to avoid. So she actually comes to really love her A. It helps her remember the past, but also to move on as well.
It isn't necessarily a bad thing. The letter A, of course, is the first letter in the alphabet. And, of course, it's a really valuable card in a deck of cards. The ace of spades, the A there, you know. Yeah. So, of course, she becomes quite attached to her letter A. Yeah. And she even embroiders it beautifully with gold thread, and it inspires her to forgive herself and live a good life. So here, of course, embroidering something means to use like fine colored thread to make a sort of design on something.
Beautiful.
Embroidery, it's actually a fine art.
I do embroidery.
I think it's xiu, I think, in Chinese. Oh, yeah? Although it seems like it would take a lot of time to do that.
It does. It takes a lot of time. But it's very fun and it's rewarding. Once you're done, you can either make what you've embroidered into a pillow. I'll frame some things I've done. Yeah, they're beautiful. So she makes her A quite beautiful because she embroiders it with gold thread. And this inspires her to forgive herself and live a good life. Rather than moving to a new place, which I would probably do, I'm going to confess, that would be tough to live in the same community where everybody thought poorly of you and knew of your past, she decides to just stay in that community, and she actually becomes a very valuable member of that group because she starts to really care and reach out to other people who are in trouble or who are suffering. So she becomes a valuable member of the community that once condemned her. If you condemn someone, it's like you say, there's no helping you. You'll never change. We use it a lot when we talk about sentencing someone to death for some crime they've committed. He's condemned to death. But if you condemn someone, you're in essence saying, you'll never change. I'll never forgive you. You're a bad person forever.
You totally disapprove of someone, so of course they don't do this to her anymore. They remember her as a caring and compassionate woman in their community. Of course, if you're compassionate, that means you have compassion or feelings or care or concern, sympathy about other people. So yes, indeed, I think she made up for her sin. And of course, in religion, you're supposed to forgive people. And I think she deserves to be forgiven. So I suppose the story ends on a positive note there.
Yeah, I would say. Well, one more person who's always positive is our Chinese teacher. Let's listen.
好，那说到这是一个次要的例子，怎么说？真正糟糕的人到底是谁？其实就是 Hester 的先生。那他基本上他本身这种复仇的心，想要把所有的罪跟恨都投注到他的太太的身上。还有呢，就是这位牧师，他到底是一个邪恶的人，还是一个在讲台上一个道貌岸然的人呢？我们知道这个故事的探讨也就在这里，到底什么是邪恶？那我们再往下看，下面就说到，其实牧师真的是一个coward， 他其实是一个很怯懦的人，所以呢，他才不敢承认自己的罪，而且 deny fatherly love to his daughter。 我们又看到了这个字 deny， 记得 deny 当然可以代表拒绝承认，像这里他就是拒绝给他自己女儿的父爱。还有如果你 deny somebody something，那就表示说拒绝给这个人什么东西。好，最后的这一段我们再来看第三个主题。这个小说的第三个主题是什么呢？ Identity and Society， 身份和社会。这个主题其实也是非常重要的一个角色。我们知道 Hester 他身上他的红字的 A， 其实到最后呢，他这个 A在当地的居民里面已经不再代表 adultery 了，而这个 A 甚至有人说它等于 angel， 也就像天使一样。好，我们今天的讲解就到这边结束，我们下次见。
That is it for today. Thank you for joining us, and we certainly hope you enjoyed our programs about this featured work of literature this month, The Scarlet Letter. We hope we've encouraged you to do more reading yourself. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye. Bye.